I have a question. So I think I mixed up for the linking necessary conditions and linking sufficient conditions, the directionality, because I had this one in mind when I was graphing the other one. I mean, diagramming the other one. And I would like to know why would A requires C not work then?
This is a very common question. I get this one all the time, and I actually put together another slide for that exact reason. So why doesn't A to require C serve as a sufficient assumption? Because people always look for that. And you might think, well, again, people like to think we're going down. That just seems like a more natural direction, like going down from A to C in this case here. But the reason it doesn't work is because if you had A requires C as a sufficient assumption, and you already had the given evidence, A requires B, you would then get a longer chain simply telling you A requires both B and C. But A requiring both B and C doesn't tell you anything about how C and B relate to each other in a conditional sense. It just doesn't tell you anything about that relationship. You can't infer from this that C requires B. They're not logically equivalent. So it just simply doesn't do that. And so with an example here, let's say that the evidence was A requires B. If it's an apple, then it's a fruit. And then we had our proposed sufficient assumption, if it's an apple, then it's food. Would that tell us that all food is fruit? No, it would simply tell you that an apple happens to be both fruit and food in general, but it doesn't tell you anything about how food and fruit relate to each other in a conditional sense. It's kind of like when people say for a flaw question, why isn't such and such the flaw? And it's like, well, flaws are bad, but if an argument isn't guilty of a particular flaw, then that choice doesn't describe the flaw the argument's guilty of committing. Great question. I'm glad you asked it because people ask that one all the time. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.